Hey guys, V from Shark Fin Shears here. Thank you for tuning in to today's class where we're going to be doing a live haircut, bringing you tricks and tips that you can take this week and use behind the chair. I suggest taking one or two of these tricks, trying them out on a client this week, see how they work out for you. Have fun with it. We're going to have fun in today's class. And be sure to tune in every Monday or check out the YouTube channel so you can see the recordings as well. If you're in today's class, please stay tuned to the end. I want to give you a promo code that you can use on the website to shop around that'll help you out when purchasing a pair of shears. Shark Fin is dedicated to bringing education on the tools that you're going to be using behind the chair. I'll talk specifically about the shear that I use and why I like it. And I just want to let you know, again, before we get started, that Shark Fin has a shear for everybody, whether you're looking for a swivel or a non-swivel, a 5.5-inch shear up to a 7, and the different type of blending shears that we offer as well. There's something out there for everybody, and I want to make sure that you have the tool that you're comfortable with in your hand when you're working behind the chair all day. So again, stay tuned until the end. Thank you for tuning in today. And if there's anything in the future that you would like to see, hit us up on Instagram at Shark Fin Shears and let us know what you want to learn about. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in today for this segment with Shark Fin Shears. My name is Vinny. I'll be walking you through today's class. Sorry we couldn't be live today, but we did this recording instead and still got some good content for you guys. If you because we won't be live today and you won't be able to comment, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at at education at sharkfinshears.com or DM us on Shark Fin Shears on Instagram. So today I'm gonna kind of jump into working with haircut with all scissors. It's something we haven't done yet today. We've mixed in a lot of clippers and scissors. Today I'm going to solely focus on an all scissor haircut. Before we do so, I'd like to go over some basics that I like to touch upon in school when I'm teaching my students. And first I would like to talk about a few things with head shape and the fact that we're going to be using straight tools on a round head. All right, what's up? Where?
Right on the left side of your face.
Thanks, Des. All right. So when starting, this is going to be a all scissor haircut with something that has come in within the last 6 weeks, and we're going to take them back to that haircut that they got 6 weeks ago. So that's specific, and I want to address what that looks like today because that's going to be how I approach it. And what I want to talk about with head shape, and for anybody that's coming in and getting a haircut, all right, as you can see in this on this mannequin head here, I have it broken up into some panels. The side, we have the back, the nape, moving into the other side, and then moving up into the parietal, the apex, and the bang. All right. So when working in the side, we have a larger area that is straight, and we can use more of our scissor, more of the comb to cut this area. And same for the back. We have a larger area in the back that's flat that we can cut kind of straight across, and then moving into the other side. Where you want to pay attention when using your shears and a comb is where the head starts to round, and paying attention that you're going to use a smaller part of the comb and less of your shear, and so that you can make that turn without creating a corner. One way that I like to relate this to my students is we teach that you cut from fingernail to second knuckle. That creates a lot of control. So when I hold my second knuckle up to the comb, you can see about where I'm going to be cutting to. I use that as a visual as I'm working through this haircut. All right. So we want to pay attention that we're using straight tools and we need to make a round shape on the horizontal plane. All right. The other thing that I like to do is when performing the all scissor haircut and I'm looking at the side, if I'm taking that visual again, then I'm going to break the side panel into two horizontal areas and then about 1, 2, 3 vertical sections. That's the way that I like to visualize the side panel. It repeats on the other side, obviously. In the back, because we have a larger area, we're not going to do 3 sections vertically. We're going to do about 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we're going to move out from there. All right. So just a couple tips that I like to address with my students when I'm teaching them an all scissor haircut using your comb and your shears. So let's hop into it from there. Here's our model for today. I already sectioned the head out, the top from the bottom. I like to do that so that I can clearly see where I'm working with. Keep it on this side. Okay? So this is what I'm visualizing again. I got the hair in front of me now so I can't see the full head. But as I described earlier, breaking it down into the sections, what I'm looking for and what I'm going to be doing, that's what I like to visualize here. So we're going to start with a center guide here. And this is going to be the hardest part of the haircut because you have to decide how short you're going to go. As a new barber or stylist, this is one of the hardest decisions to make. So in the consultation, I like to ask when someone's last haircut was. If you've never cut them before, I like to ask them when their last haircut was. If I did cut them, I'd like to remind myself. So if I don't remember, I'll ask them. And we know that hair grows about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch a month. And for an all scissor haircut, I typically am telling my clients to come back within 4 to 6 weeks. So depending on how fast their hair grows, that's how much I'm going to take off. It's a rule of thumb that you can kind of use to hit a target. But once I start working in the center, I'm going to start cutting the hair down, and I'm not going to move on until I get that center guide exactly where I want it to. Because from there, we're going to go out to the left, and then we can go out to the right. So, and if you ever get lost, you can always move back to center. All right. Last position is going to be important. So I always like to keep my work chest level. So if I'm working low, I bring my model high. If I'm working high, I bring my model low. That's going to keep me in a comfortable position while I'm cutting and moving around the head. All right.
Whenever you want me to punch in, let me know.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's good. And then just let me know how this is looking here. All right, so as you can see, we have some length here. I'm going to remove a 1/2 inch or more on this haircut. And the other thing I'm not gonna worry about right now is the nape area in the way to taper it. So I'm not gonna worry about the taper right now. We're gonna remove length from the nape to the crown area, and I'll come back and show you what I'll do for the taper. Because this hair is thicker and longer, I'm gonna take a comb that has larger space between the teeth, which isn't gonna cause a lot of tension, and I'm gonna remove length first and then go in and polish it with the tighter side, and then we'll finish the nape with the taper comb. All right, so let's go in here. Here's a trick. Earlier I told you we're gonna do about 5 sections. So here's another trick I teach people for the first time they're doing scissor work. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What that's gonna do is give you your length. We cleared some hair out, and it's gonna give you those harsh lines, but we removed the length, and now we can go back in, picking the hair up, and start to follow what we did on those 5 cuts. And with a slow comb and a faster scissor, we're gonna start to get a blend there. So we'll work this until, and this is what I was saying earlier, don't move away from this center profile guide until you're happy, and I'll tell you why. This is gonna be the guide for the rest of the haircut. There we go. And you can see where we're putting that weight line, because we're gonna build length into the top of the haircut. I'll show you how to get rid of that as we finish this haircut. All right, so here, now I can move in with the tighter side. And again, notice slower comb, faster scissor, and I'm moving rhythmically. That's one of the things people overlook. They move the comb too fast. If you move the comb too fast, you're gonna go right past the section that you're trying to cut. All right. So if you like that center, now you can decide which way you want to go. Do you want to move out to the left, or do you want to move out to the right? I'm going to move out to the right. You see that does? We're going to clear this hair here. Okay. Now when I pick up the hair, can you punch in on this?
Like that?
Can you see that uncut hair? You can pull it back over to your screen if you need to. Just want to make sure these guys can see it at home. Can you see this uncut hair here?
Yep, it's just a little, you gotta move the head forward a little bit. Like yeah, so you can get in focus. We're on face tracking right now. Not towards the camera, away from the camera. Sometimes. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So now sticking to the principle that I have a guide, and I'm going to cut in a section that's about as big as from fingernail to knuckle, I can now move to the right, constantly having a guide all the way up. So you can go right in and start cutting like this. I tend to think that's a little bit advanced. So you can also go back in and find the guide, make a clean cut, clean cut, clean cut. Now I can see what I'm doing. I still have my guide from the left. I have a guide from underneath. And we're moving through. We're going to move over again. Got my guide here. That's how I know to comb in and come out too. This little trick that I'm doing here as I'm moving up, it's just a basic barrel roll. So you have to organize the hair and comb it out 1 or 2 times to get it to sit where you want it to. So right here, I'm gonna hold the hair with my closed shear, roll under, pick the hair up again, and then start cutting. Now we just got into that round part of the head where I was taking a smaller section then to keep this nice and clean. Is my hand or elbow in the way it does?
No.
Okay. Now just going back, we'll flip it to the other side now that that length and weight is removed. And now I'm just staying on the ends to polish up between those like 5 sections that we cut. Now we're moving in to the side of the head. Clear guide right here.
Looks really good.
Thank you. The side, take your time in the back. It's gonna seem like it takes you forever. If you're worried about moving faster, there's an ebb and flow. I always talk about an ebb and flow to a haircut. So for this haircut, you're gonna take the most time in the back, and then when you get to the side and top, it's gonna move a lot faster. And the cleaner you get your guide in the back and move it and continuously to like move it over in the haircut, actually the faster you'll move.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does scissor density affect like your cutting? And if you're trying to do an all scissor cut, do you prefer to use one scissor, or would you prefer to use multiple precise scissors?
Yeah, so it depends on how big. All right, so Des is asking me, like, could I use multiple scissors on this haircut? Yeah, absolutely. So for a haircut like this, I have my set 6 1/4. I could use a 7-inch shear to like debulk, remove length, move a little quicker.
Yeah.
And then I could go in with like a 6 1/4 or something smaller for polish work. That's why I like this 6 1/4. I can use it for bigger work, and then I can use it for smaller work. But yeah, absolutely. If you have the shear set, you can absolutely start building your set to be specific for certain things you're trying to do, and then use multiple shears in the haircut. So we're going to use this shear. We're going to use a blending shear, and then we might use like a texturizing debulking shear in that.
Sweet.
All right, so thanks. So let's see, can you punch out real quick?
Is there?
All right, you can come back in slightly. I'm going to show you guys right here.
That good?
Yeah. Right here, when the head starts to turn again.
That's really bright white. So
Do the best we can.
I can drop the chin settings real quick if you want me to.
The head starts to turn in at the temple.
I'm not gonna touch anything.
All right, and you want to slightly turn in for that to bevel there, or you'll just get a very bulky look right here. So I'm going to turn that in now, just slightly. See if Des can punch in for the guide. So this hair right here is unfinished, and it's because I had the comb straight, and that's leaving it longer at the temple. So I'm going to turn the shear in. I have a guide right here. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that corner off. To finish that shape in the front of the haircut. And you can see that that cut down on the shape and debulked it a little bit there. All right, so even for mannequin hair, I think this is coming out and looking pretty good. Now the finer, like the more control you can have with the shears, and right now I'm using even smaller sections now for polish work, just making all these tiny connections. The more you can do that, and the less you can use blending shears, the haircut's going to come out a lot cleaner and grow in consistently. And what I'm going to do now, we'll see if you can see the difference. We're going to go in with my 40s. So I'm going to switch to a classic comb. We're going to go in with a 40 tooth blending shear. This shear will help with any imperfections. And what I forgot to mention earlier is why people like all scissor haircuts. It's softer look. It looks like the haircut was lived in a little bit, like it's like kind of a week old, rather than getting a clipper cut. So the imperfections are good to a point. We're just going to polish this up a little bit. So with a 40 tooth blending shear, you want to stay just on the ends of the hair, because a 40 tooth blending shear is very close to an actual shear, and if you cut it in the same spot too many times, it's actually just going to take length, it's going to take hair off again, as opposed to blending it. So again, just taking out these little imperfections. You'll start to see a smoother look in the hair. Just covering over each section again. Please again notice the rhythm with the shear and the comb. The comb is not moving faster than the shear. And if you're not able to cut this fast with the shear, then just slow down even more. That's okay. You don't have to move lightning speed for this hair for this.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How does but scissor quality and also scissor maintenance affect your scissor haircuts over time?
Well, scissor quality, so the type of steel it's made with, when you're going to get a cleaner cut like we're talking about, so you'll get less lines of demarcation because it's going to cut the hairs very clean, right?
It gives you more control.
Yeah, way more control. You're going to be able to move through faster because you're not going to have to double back and recut. And then scissor maintenance, checking the tension, making sure your shear is clean. So you can see this dropping, it's stopping in the V shape, so my tension is good. It was oiled and cleaned out. The tension is going to help with not bending the hair. If it's too loose, the hair will just get stuck in between and get bent. So you'll be sitting there and cutting for a long time. If it's too tight, the shear is going to be rubbing, it's going to grind it out, which then it won't be cutting properly either. So yes, thank you. Definitely check your shears beforehand for tension, make sure they're clean. And then again, investing in a good pair of shears, keeping the edge longer. Hair beats up the shear over time. So having a sharper edge for longer is going to give you a cleaner cut. That's why we want to invest in the tools necessary for the job that we're doing. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a quick look. Here's what it looked like when we started. We'll do a rotation. You can start to see where it was cut. Moving up. I'm not worried about the outline right now. You can go in with a trimmer, or if you're going to go in with a shear, I like to just use and just about the quarter of the edge, and when I cut, I'm actually going to pull back. We'll cut the ear out here. Ears are one of the trickier areas. One of my mentors one time showed me when I was doing an all scissor haircut, and I just didn't know how to handle the ear and everything like that. He just showed me you can punch out real quick. I had the client sitting in my chair, and I just asked him if he could bend his ear down for me. So I asked the client, I said, hey, can you just hold your ear down for me for a second? Look how much room that gives you to operate, and when you're less conscious and focused on the ear, you can focus on the hair more. So it's one trick that somebody taught me that I used. So get your client to participate in the haircut. They're not going to mind. And then as you get more comfortable with working around ears and everything, you'll learn different tricks and tips on how to avoid cutting somebody's ear. All right.
If you could bring the mannequin just over to your left a little bit, that's perfect.
Thanks.
Because it's not face tracking on it, so it's going to keep it in focus.
Yeah.
All right.
We're doing pretty good. Yeah? Cool. I see a little something here that's not right, so check this out. We'll pick this back up. There's the guide. And look at that. Better. The hair will tell you what to do. After you do this center guide and you start working out, and you'll see areas of length or weight, elevate the hair. You'll have a guide on the left and on the right. And when that happens and you have hair coming out like a triangle, you know you're going to make a connection. And you also know that you're not connecting too big of an area. If you connect too big of an area, like if I just came in like this and cut from about the back almost over to the side outline, when I cut this, because the head is round here, I'm going to be long, short, long. And then you're going to have a hole right in this section here. And then you're going to try to go shorter here and shorter here. And if you don't have the control, you know what you're looking for, you're going to start to run out of hair, and you're not going to be able to control the length that you were going for. So, all right. So let's go on to the other side. Let's see. Moving up, here's my guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go over to another section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift that one a little longer. We'll go back up. This is one of the easiest ways to get the right side to match with the left by working in the center back and then moving out right and then moving out left. And again, you can start on whatever side you want. Turn the client. This mannequin head was styled a little funny, so we got a little bit of what seems to be like a calic here, but we'll work through that. And then I noticed I kept the classic comb in my hand, so I'll go back to the comb I was using earlier so we can stay consistent. Use the tighter side now that the length has been removed.
Okay, start talking.
The other thing that you don't use enough pressure on the scalp with the comb, and then you're not able to pick up the hair properly. So it's in, up, and out, and you can use some pressure if you're not confident with it. First of all, I would practice on a mannequin head. Second, I would get a fellow student or another barber in the chair, put the comb on their head, and pick the hair up and ask them how it feels. You'll be surprised. You're going to need more pressure than you think. I love an all scissor haircut. Side's giving me a little bit more trouble. There we go. This weight line here is coming from the parietal that I have sectioned down. The weight line's fine right now, but in order to get it where I want it to sit, instead of cutting it at a lower elevation, the lower I keep that, the heavier that weight line's gonna be. So I actually need to pick that hair up in the same line I'm cutting in, and it'll layer it exactly how you need it to, and it'll keep the length that you need to move to the top of the haircut. So again, on that round part of the head, moving from the back to the side, smaller sections. I'm using the side of the comb with wider teeth to move through this length of hair and the thickness. My guide's coming from the right. I can clearly see my guide. I'm trusting my guide. Again, going in, up, and out to meet the guide, to continuously work. And you can see in this one section, I'm gonna keep working until it looks like the previous section. I have the double shark fin. As you can see, I'm cutting the mannequin head dry right now, and it's just moving right through the hair, no problem. Like we were mentioning earlier, the quality of the shear that you have, meaning the type of metal that it's made out of, how long it keeps its edge, how sharp its edge is, for it to be able to flow through or cut through dry hair like this, and especially mannequin hair. There we go.
What is a good like general shear type? Let's say I'm a first year stylist, just out of school. What will be a good pair of scissors to buy? Especially like I don't have any money. I haven't built my career up. at all. Some good Shark Fin Shears to start with.
Well, again, I always investigate like what type of haircuts are you mainly going to be doing. That can depend on the area that you live in, the type of clientele you see. I specifically gravitated towards scissor haircuts like this. I use scissors a lot. But coming out of school and getting an entry level shear, you want to check out Shark Fin's Pro Line Plus, and then you can go up from there. But try to be a little specific about what you're looking for. Like I said, I picked a 6 1/4 because for me it's the most versatile shear. With being able to work, like you can see how small I'm going to work right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can work small, or I can work, bigger, like I was doing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I really like this 6 1/4. I cut dry. I love cutting hair dry. So I wanted to find the shear that could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then it kind of comes down to comfortability. So ergonomically, how this shear fits in my hand, I love. It's very comfortable. As you can see, the still blade down here stays on the spine of the comb as I'm cutting. And having a shear that's comfortable in my hand, it helps maintain that flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, because I would ask is like, for example, like me, I'm a photographer, right, videographer, and when we have to make a lens purchase, which is more important than the camera body itself, right? Like the camera body would be like the person, like would be the barber, would be equal to camera body, but the tools would be like the lenses, right? And the most important thing to us as photographers is light performance, focal length, and clarity. And a good lens, I always tell people to start off with, is either the 50 millimeter, right, or a 24 to 70. A 24 to 70 is a good lens because it gives you that wide enough zoom. I mean, it gives you the wide enough focal length shot. It also gives you the far enough distance at the 70 millimeter. Since you're shooting a wedding, you have to be up close to everybody. And then f2.8 is a low light performance, so it can perform well at low light. And it's a good lens to start with, and it will take you far, right? So that's how I was curious, like.
Yeah. So then from that, I appreciate that. So from that standpoint, I would recommend a 6 1/4. And then kind of that would be my starting ground, and then going from there. And then don't forget, like for us in shears and everything, like I'm comfortable with this still handle, and then Shark Fin has the swivels.
That's cool.
Which can also help with like thumb placement. They're more readily available as well. So I would say, from that standpoint, I'm going 6 1/4. I would tell anybody that to start with, because then you can branch out from there. All right, so you can see that I'm kind of fine tuning this left side a little bit more. So just kind of working through that right now. As I cleared out the hair, or as I was looking in the mirror and seeing the shape, I didn't go as straight up on this side. I kind of flared out. So I'm just fine tuning that right now. And then we're going to go back in with the 40 blending shears and polish that up. Nice. So I like that. How's that looking on camera?
It looks good. Is it on this screen over here? It's like so high contrast. It looks like it's sunlight burning to its forehead. But I'll bring it over here. It looks fine.
Good. All right. So I'm going to switch back to the classic comb. More tension. My blending shears just staying on the edge. These blending shears, again, closer to a 40 tooth count. And when you're working with clippers and transitioning from clippers to scissor work and trying to get that real nice polish transition, these texturizers are work magic. Because I know, when you know your tools, you can use them for various things. Because I know this is close to a shear cutting. If I have length I don't like, I'll sit here and I'll cut the same thing a few times, and that'll actually remove the length. So that came out nice and polished there. So I won't switch the tool. If you know that the tool is versatile and can do something else, then use it, do it. All right, as you can see,
Always an hour.
all right, as you can see, this is a little bit more kind of boxed here. I want to get a little bit more of a silhouette. That's where the taper is going to come in. So we'll taper the nape into the back, and then we'll taper the sideburn a little bit.
Clock up top.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna come out at this angle here. I have a taper comb, tighter teeth, thinner spine. I'm gonna be able to get closer to the head. We're going to start in the center again, work our way out. And if you can see, here's my rule of thumb. And this really helps with, I use this every time I do this haircut, but different clients are going to sit in my chair. So you can see the earlobe. So my rule of thumb is anything from the earlobe down is that person's nape area.
Redo it again.
Yeah. So anything from the earlobe, and I'll do it with the comb. There we go. So earlobe. So I'll bring the comb over here. Anything from here down is the nape. So at the bottom of the earlobe, I want to be blended by the time I get here. So I'm blending into this length here. Alright. Again, just a visual that would help. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to make a tighter cut. 1, 2, 3, and then I should be blended in that area. If you like it, great. If not, go back in, fine tune again. Now I can move out to the right. I have a clear guide, working in small sections. 1, 2, 3. Polish. I'm going again here. Guide. Same thing here. Guide's coming from the right now. You can go even tighter. I'm going to go at a harder angle because I want to bevel out sooner. But just continue to tighten this up down low. And this is how I would do an all scissor taper, which I'm in the state of PA, So for our state boards, we have to perform a taper for the practical. And it could be a taper with the clippers, or you have to be prepared to do a taper with the scissors. So just blending that a little bit towards the top there. And now you can see we have more of a silhouette here, tighter down at the nape. That's gonna grow in really nice. We'll do the same thing here. Hold. I've taught this in a previous class. The taper area is the top of the ear to the point of the outline to the temple. So I want to hold my tools on that angle. I want to be blended into the scissor haircut here. Again, if you're not getting the desired outcome, use more pressure with the comb to pick up the hair. We're going to switch to the tighter side. Staying in this shape. We're staying in that triangle. Will help just tighten up that temple area and not go around the ear with the length. Cool. So we have a nice shape there. Nice shape in the back. So, to review, starting an all scissor haircut, center back, perfecting the guide as you can. I cleared overgrown hair in 5 cuts, moving up the head, and then worked the scissor and the comb to blend in between those 5 cuts to get a nice look. And then we moved out to the right to finish the back panel. We moved up and into the side. We polished it with a 40-tooth blending shear, and then we repeated that on the other side. Went back, moved into the taper. So again, on a model, I would polish this up a little bit more. We are working with a mannequin head. I am happy with how this came out. For the mannequin head, on a live model, I would definitely be taking into consideration who's in front of me and some more polish work and tweaks and altercations that I need to make. Again, sectioning out the top from the bottom is crucial so that I know where I'm working. I wanted to build length in the parietal area here to go short to long, and then from there I can keep the top longer as well. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Again, we haven't done much with a all scissor haircut. This is my approach to somebody who gets an all scissor haircut, who comes in about every 4 to 6 weeks. The hair isn't completely overgrown. I do have a basic shape. I can start in the center back, taking about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch off, more if needed, working from the center out to the right, out to the left to get consistency on both sides, finishing off with the outline and the taper. So if this was helpful, please, again, comment, send us a DM, Shark Fin Shears on Instagram, or an email, education@sharkfinshears.com. If you are a school that's joining us and this was helpful, you'd like to see more like this or in depth, please let us know. Also, if showing the anatomy of the head was helpful, please, all your comments, I appreciate. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll be back live next week, and I do plan on having a live model for that one. So thank you guys, and I'm out.